Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for spirits and spirit decks in the world of Magic the Gathering. On this episode, I'm going to call it my historic episode. Why? Because I'm going to be breaking down a historic deck, some historic news that Watsy did last week, something about a new commander thing in Arena, and finally, Mr. Rosewater up to his shenanigans, teasing us about Dungeons and Dragons. Do I got you curious? I hope so. So let's get this thing started, shall we? Let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this episode. I'm your host, Dwight, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. And for those curious, yes, I do have a website with my short yet extensive spirit content library. And if you want to donate to the show, please do that there. Please, I'm looking to update my equipment. And also, if you want to sponsor this episode or an episode very similar to this one in the future, you can do that there. All right? So, wherever you're listening to me right now, do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Just take your time, take your moment, right? And there's this thing called the like, or follow, subscribe button. Hit that for me. Because I see in my analytics, let's be honest with one another. This is the largest spirit content out there. Okay, I'm like, there's 1,000+ of you that are listening to the show. I'm humbled. I appreciate you guys listening. And if it's not just because of the spirit content, you're just listening because, you know what, there's other things out there that you like, or hell, you like the sound of my voice. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I'm not charging a fee. I just want to make sure that you're getting the latest and greatest episodes when I post them. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, now that the homework is over and done with, it's historic time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, historic. Well, what happens is that on June 9th, I know I'm a little late to the table because, I mean, it's June 24th. You're like, come on, Dwight, this is like 15 days later, almost 2 full weeks. There was a banning. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm going to be doing a future episode on some shenanigans that had to deal with this particular banning. There was a banning June 9th in Historic, and it was Time Warp. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Time Warp got banned in Historic. Now you're going to go, well, it's a powerful card. Why would it not be banned? Well, what happens there was a Strixhaven Championship tournament where 5 of the top 8 decks, all of them, were this variation of a thing called Jeskai Turns. And Time Warp was the key card in it. Now, if you're not familiar with this deck, I have the deck list in front of me prior to it being banned. And the player that actually, one of the players wanted to call it Velamacho's combo, which to me makes sense. And the whole key point of Velamacho's combo is that Velamacho's allows you to play a card from the library without paying this cost. So guess what? Now you're playing turn after turn after turn after turn, and it caused some major issues. And Historic wasn't overly fun. So, due to Watsy's thought process, they decided, you know what? We don't want to destroy Jeskai completely. We're just going to ban Time Warp. So, Vellamachos can stay around. People can still play different variations of the deck, but the turns taking and not letting your opponent do anything about it is over. But what's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is that this particular deck, Velamacho's combo, has made its way to Modern. And it's made a top 8 last weekend. There were 2 decks with the same identical build. And what I find pretty hysterical and historical is that a friend of the show, Peter Velko, known on Twitch as Bucket Man, the number 4 ever, he actually played this deck. I actually viewed him while playing Twitch. He was playing this deck, and I'm gonna have him on the show talk about the how the deck is played, the key cards, and how to go about beating it. You know, because that's my goal. You know, I want us to get as much information as we can to beat the opponent at their game. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this Sunday, I know he's currently in Florida. He's going to be back soon. He's going to join me on a future episode where we can discuss how we can do something about Valamachos and kick its ass. Because, I'm always looking for that up-and-coming deck that we are not aware of. So that's right. Time Warp was banned, and a lot of people were upset and saddened. Then later on June 18th, about 9 days later, there was a comprehensive rule changes. That's right, because what happens is people were complaining about Cathar the Lion released in Modern Horizons 2. And it had to deal with the Planeswalker loyalty symbol. Because, if you look at it the first time, you're like, what the hell is this thing asking? I don't understand. It could be really confusing to the newer player. And if you're not a person who really looks deep into the rules and just says, I'm all about attacking, or, I'm all about like firebolting you in the face, you're certain rules that you're not going to give a damn about. You're all about direct damage or just killing 1, 2, 3. And not playing with weird side rules, the one wonderful things that we bend magic rules. So there was a comprehensive rule change that they just updated that had to deal with this. And let me just tell you, it's a lot. Like for me, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this had to cover several cards like Garth the One-Eye, Capricorn, Teferi Protection, Murktide Regent, Cathar the Lion. There were 2 for Cathar the Lion, Valentine Dean of Vane. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not going to go through it. I'm making you guys aware of it, okay? Reason why I'm not going to go through all of this, honestly, is it's not spirits. Yes, we should know this type of stuff because the fact that we're playing against it, but that's why we have judges, okay? This is above my pay grade, and this is where I go, you know what? Let the judges figure this out. They went to school, I'm not going to say they went to school for it, but that's what they got the knowledge for. Like, I know my knowledge between, like, maybe judge level 1 to maybe 2, but I'm not, this does where certain thing goes, that's judge level 3 and 4, and, I'm not going to waste my time on it. Honestly, I'm not. But I'm making you aware, ladies and gentlemen, it's out there. If you're worried about Cathar the Lion, you're worried about Kahari, the Orphan Guard, Grist the Hunger Tide, Kythos the Paragon, Valentine Dean of the Vane, Murktide Regent, Teferi's Protection. You're playing these cards, come and check them out. Okay, WotC did do some changes, and I'm sorry. I know you may say, Dwight, that's really lazy, and shame on you for doing that. Look, it's not spirits. Has nothing to do with spirits. So I don't care. Sorry, I have to be blunt. So, now that that's done with, okay, let you know that WotC did make some rule changes, that there was a banning in historic. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? there's a gentleman that has been playing and been kicking ass thoroughly in Historic. And I keep on mentioning their name over and over and over again. And this individual doesn't just play spirits. I went there, did some analytics. This individual plays a lot of different type of decks. But the deck that he keeps on consistently winning over and over and again, making sure he gets he or she gets 5-0 finishes, is Mythic Rank Player. And Platinum Mythic Rank Player. I was like, hold on, why am I saying there's four parts to this individual's name? Platinum Mythic Rank Player. Well, I want to break down this card because, ladies and gentlemen, this can't be the only one. This person can't be the only person playing spirits in Historic. So I want to talk to you about this deck list. Now, in the main, he has 2 Noble Ghast Heralds, 4 Supreme Phantoms, 4 Spectral Sailors, 4 Rattle Chains, 4 Ascendant Spirits, and 4 Brazen Borrows for creatures. Now, I know that Brazen Borrow itself is not a spirit, but the ability to sit there and bounce back a creature and then be able to play a 3/1 flyer as flash, it's not bad. Do I wish it was a spirit? Hell yeah, why not? But unfortunately, spirits need some love too. Not just, fairies need some love too, not just spirits. But this is a great, addition to a mono blue build. Now I'm going to keep on going on because it's not just a mono blue build. It's a snow build because of the fact that it has Ascendant Spirit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, this was the card that I poo-pooed early in Kaldheim. And it was a mistake of mine. I should have never poo-pooed it. I should have let the cards play, and I did not. I've learned my lesson from this point on. I will wait till 2 weeks after a format to open my mouth and go, crap. Unless it's official crap. Now, instance, this card is playing 1 Stern Dismissal, playing 2 Essence Capture, 4 Spell Pierce, and 4 Lofty Denials. I love Lofty Denial. I'm a big fan of Lofty Denial. Now, as you see, it's mostly a counter package. I'm going to bounce something here. I'm going to counter here. I'm going to counter and counter. Okay, so this is counter heavy. Well, in Historic, what are we supposed to do in blue? The only thing we can do, bounce creatures back and counter. And especially the fact that our creatures are a little small, but the whole point is, let me tap here, let me tap there, let me see what we can do. All right? Then they have, he or she has, shall I say, they have Curiosity and Curious Obsession. They have 2 Curiosity, 4 Curious Obsession. I like this addition just because the fact that that's something really that Spirits is actually lacking, and that's card draw ability. I've brought this up several times with several players. I've brought them on to the show, like Dr. Katz, and basically we're stuck with a position where we're a tempo deck, but we don't. There are times where we actually just flood with land or just don't have the cards that we need in hand to seal the victory. And the lack of card draw is that huge problem. And fortunately, Curiosity and Curious Obsession are some of the key cards that do help. Do I think we need to start playing these in other formats? Potentially. But who knows, we will learn along the way what happens. Players like Andre Segura, REMF, or Dr. Queller, these are the leaders of the spirit movement, and we'll learn from them. Now, the next is the lands. They're running 2 Faceless Havens. Now, I think this is a really awesome card where, you pay 3 snow and you get a 4/3 creature. Okay. With all creature types. Okay. So it's like a shapeshifter that's a creature. And it's pretty friggin' badass. Now, so just, if you need that extra protection, worried about, oh, you know what? All I got to do is tap 3 snow and I get a creature. Not a problem. It's awesome for defense. And then finally, 18 snow-covered islands. That's why they call it mono blue snow belt. Okay. Would I want to add more, add less? No, mythic rank, platinum mythic rank player, that individual's figured it out. Now in the sideboard, they're running 1 Kira Great Glass Spinner, which I am a huge fan of. I think we're going to probably end up maybe 1 added to the main in Modern. But I know this is a key card that's going to have to go to the sideboard, no matter what in Modern. Then this individual has 1 Numblegouse Herald, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, which actually surprised me because I didn't realize that Historic had a lot of graveyard issues. Then you have 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Aether Gust, 2 Nimble Obstructionists. I like that card. It's such a fun little bird. 2 Negate, and 3 Test of Talents. I've been waiting for someone to actually play that card. Wow, okay. Now I get to see it here now in Platinum Mythic Rank Players deck. Now, I'm going to post this deck later on this afternoon after this episode has been posted. So if you're playing Arena and you want to do some competitive play within Spirits, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, my friends, this deck has been winning. This deck has been out there, and I have to share it with you. Okay? I want us to continue winning. I want us to sit there and say, for the love of the tribe. I don't want to provide you any boo sheet. So, there it is. The Spirit deck in Historic. And I hope you guys have fun playing it. Now, my next section, Mr. Rosewater. Mr. Mark Rosewater, a.k.a. Murrow. Or Morrow. He has this thing where he loves doing teasers. Well, yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock or 4:30 yesterday, I got a wind. My friends actually, who we call ourselves the high table of MTG, which is just a little joke. But we love, discussing it on our own little chat board. My friends who are huge Dungeons and Dragons players, they are excited, but cautiously excited about this upcoming set. Why? Because they're seeing names and seeing things that they remember playing against in their youth, and they're like, holy crap, this is going to be awesome. Well, instead of just telling you what my friends and stuff say, I'm going to read you what it says here, but I'm going to tell you what my friends are saying in between times. All right? So let me begin from the beginning. Before previews of Dungeons and Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms officially begin, I, which is Mr. Mark Rosewater, thought it would be fun to do another of my duelist-style teasers where I give tiny hints of things to come. Note that I'm only giving you partial information. So, if you're an oldie like me, all right, I hate to say it like this, if you remember those good old magazines like Scry or The Duelist, you remember seeing these, and they were fun. You were like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then now it's just like, okay, Mr. Rosewater's releasing this, and we know in 2 weeks we're going to start getting massive spoilers. So, let's see what more he says. First up, here are some things you can expect. The first thing is a new enchantment subtype. Okay. Now, people have been saying dungeons, but I'm like, I didn't think that was the subtype. I would think that's the bigger type. All right. A card granting -11, -11. Well, I would love to see this card, and I hope it's a white and blue, but more than likely it's a black card. And I hope people play it a lot against Death Shadow, especially Death Shadow itself. A creature with a death trigger that makes an equipment token. Okay, this is interesting. I've heard a lot of my friends talking about this, and I saw another content producer actually say something unique, and I'm like, wow, when I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, I was really bad at it, but had fun doing it. Whenever a creature died, let's say like you just destroyed a dragon, and you're like, oh, well, I want to take some of its scales and make some armor out of it, or I'm going to take the hair from a cheetah, and it's going to super make me quick or something like that because it had super magical cheetah hair powers. I think that's what it's going to be, a creature with a death trigger that makes an equipment token. So it's going to be like, oh, the creature dies. Oh, now you have wonderful equipment. I think that's what it's going to be. I hope I'm right on that, and more than likely I am. But I'm excited to see what comes from it. Now, a legendary creature that makes a legendary hamster creature token. Now, my friends have been talking. They're like, oh, the hamster's name is Boo. Okay. And I don't, they also mentioned the other individual's name, and I'm sorry, I did not write it down or am prepared. Oh, you know what? I have it on my phone. So while I'm talking more, I can actually go back and go, hey guys, guess what I found? I found the information that I should be telling you about. But, sorry, now I'm like, oh my God, where's Boo? Well, I'm going to keep on going. So the legendary hamster, I believe his name is Boo. Okay. Minsink. That's it. The legendary creature's name is Minsink, and his legendary hamster named Boo. So this is what my friends in the group said. I want to thank my boy Ryan and my boy Tom, Dr. Tom, because he just got his doctorate. Congratulations, sir. For providing me this information. Now, something only seen previously in unsets comes to Black Border. Well, what a lot of Magic players don't realize is there's a lot of cards that actually a lot of little things inside that made its way to Black Border. So it's pretty neat. Maybe we're going to see something interesting, something new, maybe a new mechanic brought to the normal standard set instead of un. Now, the next card is an artifact that's a musical instrument that creates... Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to start that one over because that one sucked. An artifact that's a musical instrument that creates harmony counters. Now, the way I'm thinking about this potentially is this has to be a bard, a lute, a flute, or a harp. And it has to be from a bard. And basically, if you put a certain amount of harmony cards, it gets maybe, increase in attack or defense privileges. That's just my thought, and I'm going to go with it. And then a card that keeps your opponent from winning the game. Oh, great. Another Platinum Angel. Just what the world wants and needs. Well, I don't mind. As long as it's a spirit, I'm in. Now, this is an ability that cares about attacking with a certain amount of power of creatures. So I'm assuming they're like, well, if you attack with a power of 7, Just throwing that out there. 7. Oh, you get this ability, which I hope it isn't unblockable, because that would really suck. Now, cards that let you decide where the story goes. Now, seeing this card, or seeing the hint of this card, cards that let you decide where the story goes. The only stories that we've ever seen in Magic Play are the little story sections in the the Throne of Eldraine set, where you have that little story section. Now, I don't think we're going to get that again here, but I'm trying to figure out where they mean decide where the story goes. Is this like a little side game inside the game? Now my curiosity is highly piqued. A card that creates a legendary token named Vecna. Now, Vecna, what my friends tell me, was a lich. Okay? And this lich was like really badass. Ended up getting someone loyal to them, like a patsy. And this lich ended up making a sword, and the sword ended up imbuing some of its power. The power ended up telling the guy, kill Vecna, chops off her arm or chops off her hand, and Vecna just disappears into a non-metaphysical state and becomes a demigod. And then when Vecna goes out of its way to try to become God, it failed miserably. But it waited years and like decades, a long time. I'm not going to add numbers there. And then eventually established godhood. So this must be the beginning stages of Vecna. Now they're saying a card that creates a legendary creature. I'm going to sit there and say the Hand of Vecna. The reason why is because Vecna, Vecna had his hand chopped off. And what's the best way to bring back Vecna itself? By bringing back its hand. Just throwing it out there. Now, the next thing Mr. Rosewater says here is, next here are some rule texts that will show up on cards. Enchanted permanent is a what? Okay. Enchant permanent is a treasure of artifact. So I guess you get to sacrifice it? That's interesting. Now, the next one has ward. Now, you've seen the ward ability out there in Strixhaven. Really used well to the merfolk, right? With Sylvie of Sky and Sea, where you have to pay extra to do something to a creature. Well, this one has ward, discard a card. Now, that right there is a hell of a penalty. Like, card disadvantage? Oh, I'm trying to destroy this creature, and because you're trying to destroy this creature, oh, that's right, you're gonna have to screw yourself. Like that. I'm a big fan of that. Exchange your hand and library. Well, that's going to be a huge card for those who are playing that one merfolk. I forgot what the merfolk is, where once you have very little in your library, you win the game. So I know some of you are like, that's this card. I'm like, and I'm probably saying, yeah, you're right, 100% right. That card could fit there. I can see that being a blue card. Also, this would be great in Commander, especially if you have the Reliquary Tower, I believe it is, that lets you have no maximum hand size. That would be stupid, right? Like, oh, I play this card. Oh, now I take my hand, and that's now my library, And now I have every single card that I've ever wanted to play in my hand, and I got a certain amount of turns to make sure I use it, 7 turns, for victory. So, pretty interesting. Now, the next one says, skeletons, vampires, and zombies. My friend Dr. Tom said that I guarantee this is a cleric that destroys skeletons, vampires, and zombies. You know what? I like that thought. Not because I'm a huge fan of clerics, but the fact that we've never had something of that power that can kill specific tribes in that certain way. That would be really interesting to see. Now, spent this mana only to cast dragon spells or activated abilities of dragons. So for my dragon players or dragon fans out there, you know what? This is an interesting card. And I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. Because there's a lot of cards out there that try to help build or push dragons to the forefront because dragons tend to be very expensive to cast. Who knows what this is? For each different mana value among non-land cards in your graveyard. For each different mana value among non-land cards in your graveyard. I'm thinking this is like a Tarmogoyf type of creature. Obviously not Tarmogoyf itself, because I don't think Tarmogoyfs live in the land of D&D. Maybe they do. I don't know. Like, I don't know the types out there. I'm going to be 100% honest. But that's what I'm saying. So maybe something where the creature gets +1/+1. Just a thought. Now, if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Oh, I love that. I love card draw, ladies and gentlemen, especially in Spirits. I said this before. You gotta want to have card draw. That one has me stumped. I'm curious. Next one is whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard. Okay, this is an activated ability. No, I'm sorry, triggered. Sorry. It's early in the morning here. Triggered ability. Whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share the same type. Well, that doesn't help us Spirit players. That sucks. That's interesting, though. Who knows? This is more than likely definitely an EDH card. You may cast this creature's name, and that's italics, in parenthesized. You may cast this creature's name from your graveyard if a creature not named this creature's name died this turn. So basically it's, graveyard, dig, you can play a creature from your graveyard as long as it doesn't share the same name as the creature that went into a graveyard. So if you have a Llanowar elf dies, you can play a Finhorn elf from your graveyard. If I'm reading that correctly. Now the next thing says, when its power becomes 20 this way. Wow. Becomes power of 20. That one kind of scares me, because anything with power of 20, oof. We've seen what Merit Liege does, and that card's pretty scary. Well, technically the token, Liege is just nothing more than the land hidden. Oh, Liege is just hidden behind the land. That becomes the token. All right, next it said, finally, here are some card type lines in the set. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're hoping for. Will we be happy and jovial and giddy before Innistrad, or will we go, oh, okay, that's cute. Well, let's see if we can find some sideboard cards. The first is these are all creature types, and here we go. Dwarf Citizen. Okay, that's good for dwarves. Dwarves, we're limited on dwarves. We need more dwarves. Yay. And Citizen is a unique type. Haven't seen that before. Now, I know I haven't seen this type before. A Tiefling Wizard. Now, I've seen wizards. Tiefling or Tiefling. I heard people say Tiefling, but look here, it says Tiefling. I have no clue what a Tiefling or Tiefling is. If you know what this is, do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Email me at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. I'm curious what a Tiefling is. It's not a halfling, and it's definitely not a gnome. What the hell is it? What the hell is it? Next is a human elf monk. Ooh, we're doing human elves. I like that. Human elf monk. Okay. That's piqued my curiosity there. And next is an elf spider. Okay, if elves and spiders are mating, that's kind of creepy. I know elves like to tree hug and everything and say they love nature, but that's loving nature a little too much. I'm just saying, throwing that out there. It's kind of creepy. And if you're around the spider and you love spiders, do not mate with spiders. Just saying. It's kind of gross. Creature. Next one is creature. Gnome warlock. Now, I haven't seen many gnomes. I'm excited. I'll maybe I want to see what this is. Because I like gnomes. I have a gnome outside in my garden. Next one is a halfling rogue. So we have hobbits. Or on this one, I'm calling it a hobbit rogue. So that's fun. Now, the one that caught me by surprise, and I was like, what the hell is this? And my friend Dr. Tom had to point it out, so maybe it's this, which is a bird bear. Now, if birds and bears are mating, what the hell is going on? What is going on with Dungeons and Dragons? Freaking freaky people. And Dr. Tom says it has to be an owl bear. An owl bear, a famous D&D monster. Well, let's see if Dr. Tom's right. I hope Dr. Tom's right. He's usually 100% right all the time, which annoys the crap out of me. But an owl bear. That's what he's going with. And I'm going to go with him. I'm going to say this is some form of owl bear. And then finally, legendary creature, Dragon Knight. Now, I'm going to say this is the main character from maybe that D&D TV show. Cranger, I think his name is, or Crager. I forget what the guy's name is. I think this is where he makes his spot, where we go, oh, here he is, legendary guy that I remember from my childhood. That's what I think that is. I'm just saying it because I like childhood nostalgia. I still have my Generation 1 Transformers in the box. Yes, my Optimus Prime and Megatron. Yes, I am that old. I'm an 80s baby. Well, born in the 70s, but love the 80s. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Senor Mark Rosewater has for us. The teaser. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. I got nothing more for you. Thank you for listening to the show. However you're listening to the show, do me a favor. Hit that like, follow, subscribe button. Let me know that you're enjoying the show. Remember all the ways you can get out to me. And remember Magnolia Gaming in Hoboken, New Jersey. Go check them out. Tell them, hey, Dwight sent you. I have the address here real quick. 79 Hudson Street, Suite 103, Double L, Hoboken, New Jersey. Found them Facebook at Magnolia Gaming Hoboken, or check out their website, magnoliagaming.com. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this historic episode. And you know what? Have a great day. See you guys around. Later.